Excellent. Well, hello everyone. So welcome to today's webinar. We're here to be exploring how Get Visibility is helping organizations take control of their data security and how AWS and the AWS Marketplace play a critical role in delivering this value. So delighted to be joined by you guys today. Quick intro to me. My name's Isabelle O'Keefe. I've been a VC investor for the last 8+ years. I've been backing early stage companies across Europe, both as a VC and an angel investor. Was very lucky to meet Ronan Murphy along that journey and be kind of supportive of him and Mark in their super successful journey with Get Visibility and continue to look for great companies and founders like Ronan and Mark. I'm currently working as a venture partner for Mercury VC, which is a pre-seed and seed UK focused AI fund. So again, always kind of on the lookout for great founders and looking to back them and work with the likes of Ronan, Mark, and also AWS. So delighted to be joined by the three fantastic speakers today. So I've got Ronan Murphy, CEO and founder of Get Visibility, and he wears a number of other roles as well. Mariana Rossi, part of the startup team at AWS, and Zach Burns, solutions architect at AWS. So maybe I'll hand over to each of you, and you can give a bit more of an intro to yourself. So Ronan, I'll pass the mic to you.
Thank you, Isabel, and it's a real pleasure to be here today with both yourself and, as you said, you played an instrumental part in our journey for myself and Mark and the success of Get Visibility. And delighted to have Mariana and Zach here, who are my two power rangers within the AWS ecosystem. So, really excited to talk about the plans we have for AWS, how I feel it's a real pivotal moment for Get Visibility, which is now Forcepoint. We obviously had our tremendous news in the last few weeks about the acquisition of Get Visibility by Forcepoint, and talking through some of the benefits that that's bringing to Forcepoint as an organization, and also indeed to our go-to-market motion, and most importantly to our customers. Mariana, over to you.
Yeah, delighted to be here. It has been a pleasure to work with you, Ronan, and all the Get Visibility team. I need to say, you guys are the Power Rangers, not us. You make our job so easier, to be honest. So yeah, a little bit about me. I am the AWS, one of the AWS account managers. I cover the Irish, what we call Irish engaged startups, so the most strategic players. For AWS, so from unicorns to companies such as Get Visibility, that it's always a pleasure for us when we see their success and going through an exit. As part of our partnership, we discuss not only technology, right? When you think AWS, you think, yeah, the technical part, that's clear. We also support our customers with go-to-market strategy. So I think that's a little bit what we're going to discuss here today as well, using one of our tools, such as the AWS Marketplace.
Thank you, Mariana. And Zach, over to you.
Sure, thanks. Hi everyone. So yeah, Zach Burns. I've just realized my alias on Zoom is Burns. That's not some funny. That's my Amazon alias. I think I got put in there. So yeah, I should probably change that. But yeah, my role at Amazon is solutions architect. So what that means is I'm essentially a dedicated technical advisor to the strategic customers that myself and Mariana work with. Of course, get visibility being one of them. So I like to think of myself as, an extension of the technical team, the point of contact for anything that companies are trying to do within the AWS clouds, whether that's, security, costs, resiliency, increase in performance, efficiency. There's a lot of different factors and a lot of different services. So yeah, I'm often the point of ingress for these questions, and will help them navigate the very deep and vast AWS world that we operate in. And yeah, happy to talk about today the process that well, more the technical process involved in becoming an Amazon partner and being listed on the marketplace.
Excellent. Thank you, Zach. Super. Okay, so diving into questions. So Ronan, maybe to kick us off, what are the key challenges that Get Visibility helps customers solve, and how is AWS enhancing the value of your solution?
Okay, well, this is going to take a little bit of getting used to for me, as well as Get Visibility is now Forcepoint. So, I guess Forcepoint are the original architects of data security, and Forcepoint through the AWS Marketplace is helping organizations to solve some of the most complex data security challenges that exist. Now, when you think about data, it's inherently complex because it lives in cloud environments, in on-prem networks, on endpoints, and all the while it's subject to a growing list of regulatory and compliance and risk mandates. And it's important to remember in the modern era of, let's say, digital transformation, organizations can outsource their infrastructure, infrastructure as a service. They can outsource their platforms, platform as a service. They can outsource their software, software as a service, to providers like Amazon and Microsoft and Google. But the one thing that you can never outsource the responsibility for is your data. Um, and with the rise of generative AI demanding more access to data, I think you can say that securing data has never been more critical. Now, Forcepoint, Getvisibility and Forcepoint have integrated the data security posture management and the DDR, the data detect and response capabilities into the AWS Marketplace and built on the AWS cloud to help organizations to protect their data, to govern their data, to understand the risks associated with their data, not just in AWS, but across their whole AWS ecosystem, but also at their network layer and at the endpoint layer, which is a first of its kind. And Forcepoint having all of the capabilities around visibility, control, compliance in this rapidly evolving digital landscape is very, very powerful. So, Forcepoint are the pioneer in data security, extending this capability into a full SaaS environment in AWS, bringing scale, flexibility, agility in an enterprise grade platform. Really, in my opinion, is a game changer. From what I have experienced working with AWS and the teams in the various different geos, this is a high velocity channel for Forcepoint. It delivers fast, frictionless, cost aligned enterprise grade security solutions for some of the world's biggest companies. And I try and kind of break it down into maybe, and I hope I'm not stealing Mariana's thunder here, but from my perspective, right, and from Forcepoint's perspective, I break this down into kind of, four or five key areas. The first one is obviously simplified procurement and governance. So whenever we're working on a large account, I immediately ping Mariana and the team and I say, look, we're working on this big account in Southeast Asia or in North America or in Europe. And we try and map it. Where is this a customer? Because everyone's a customer of AWS, right? Where is this customer in terms of AWS? Do they have credits available? How can we work more effectively together to put a joint value proposition to this customer? And you must remember, right, this enables kind of centralized billing, streamlined approval processes, easier alignment, I would say, for big companies with their internal procurement and vendor management policies. This inevitably makes it an accelerated sales cycle, because they're getting all of the benefits of AWS, and very importantly, AWS have an incredible set of different EDP commitments, enterprise discount program commitments, I believe, with their large customers. And this is very powerful for us in Forcepoint and our sales motion with our sellers and for customers, right, where they can benefit from maximizing their AWS investment, justifying the spend internally, and really, I guess, speeding up the procurement process. It's seamless. It's cloud native in terms of a capability. So for me, I and for our leadership team within Forcepoint, this is a fundamentally important route to market, an incredibly exciting route to market, and a route to market that I believe for our customers is super important. And also, if you look at all of the clouds, the Microsoft cloud, the Google cloud, the Amazon cloud, this by far away is the best technology. Uh, available from a multi-cloud perspective, but also covering the on-prem stuff as well, which is a very important differentiator. So sorry for the long-winded answer. I hope I haven't taken too much of Mariana's thunder. She'll talk far more eloquently about AWS than I, but that's kind of my view of it.
Right. Great, Ronan. Superb. And you have touched on a few of the points, but I think Mariana can obviously expand. So, Mariana, just talking about the customer perspective, what advantages do they gain by procuring Forcepoint Get Visibility through AWS Marketplace compared to maybe traditional procurement methods?
I love this question, and I think my answer really adds to everything Ronan mentioned already. I know Ronan knows. I feel Ronan knows Marketplace, how to use this powerful tool even better than us. So yeah, delighted to hear that. I think I want to highlight maybe 3 points here, right? The first one that Ronan touched, and maybe dive deep into that. That is how it's to simplify the procurement process, right? I think one thing I hear from Ronan, from other customers of ours, is sometimes how the sales cycle is slow. You would have, and then you celebrate a win, and then you have all the paperwork to work through. I know we all here can relate on these deals. Also, like sometimes it goes to many lines of approval. If you trade through Marketplace, AWS Marketplace, you simplify all that, right? If you go to get visibility solution in the marketplace now, if you just go and search for it, you're gonna see the public pricings there for 1 to 3 years. You're gonna see the discounts they offer for long-term commitments. You're gonna see it can be as simple as a few clicks to deploy, right? So I think this is what's powerful, right? We want to accelerate and make this process as seamless as possible. So I think this is the first point I want to highlight. The second one, maybe combine into that is besides what we call, let's say, flexible pricing, because pricing is important for everyone. And the second thing, maybe I'm gonna call it cost efficient, right? I think on flexible pricing, I also encourage. I know Ronan has these massive deals that are going through some of his strategic partners, right? In this case, it can still be traded through Marketplace, but then because the deal it's so powerful, he considers like a broader partnership between him and his customer. It makes sense to have different terms, different pricing, different conditions, right? So you can find this flexible pricing there, right? I think the Get Visibility can provide that to you through Marketplace. Also touching on this second topic, but more related to cost efficiency, right? And these I hear so much. I heard from Get Visibility's team, from all my other customers, that is how tricky is to manage all these different SaaS bills, right? So you have one here, one there, different times to pay each one of them, different costs. And this takes time, right? And it's purely admin time. While if you buy Get Visibility through the AWS Marketplace, you're gonna see their costs on your AWS bill that you receive at the beginning of each month, right? So this really billing consolidation, I think, really simplifies everyone's lives. Also, you can use the AWS tools to evaluate the overall costs, and they are very cost effective. You're going to see it there. So I think this is the second point I want to highlight, right? In terms of billing consolidation, this cost efficiency and the flexible pricing. Last but not least, I think maybe Zach, you touched that, so I don't want to give too much spoilers. The compliance and security, right? And Ronan and his team did it very well. I won't lie to you, to onboard our marketplace, it might take, quite some time. One of the reasons is because we want the customers that are there to follow the AWS best practice for compliance and security. So I think this really assures the end customers that they will get the compliance and security they are looking for. Now, the Get Visibility team nailed it. They really did. So they use some of our partners. They also were part of our accelerate programs to onboard the marketplace. So their time to be there was shorter, but it's still following all the, again, compliance and security best practice. So yeah, there are many benefits, but maybe I wanted to highlight these three apart from everything that Ronan mentioned.
Brilliant. Thank you, Mariana. Super clear. I love the breakdown of one, two, three. So Zach, turning to you obviously more on the technical side. So maybe help us understand a bit the technical review process that Forcepoint Get Visibility went through to onboard onto the AWS Marketplace, and why is that really important, and why would that matter to the customers?
Yeah, great question. So in order to become a, APM partner or be listed on the marketplace as a SaaS or ISV solution, it is quite a rigorous process, and it's called an FTR, or a foundational technical review. The point of this is to essentially validate that the software, the solutions being listed on the marketplace meet AWS best practices, because being the marketplace kind of owner of the software, we have a responsibility to make sure that the software on there is, secure, cost effective, performant, operationally excellent. So there's a lot of different checkpoints that you have to go through, and like I said, it's quite a rigorous process. So for an ISV solution, the three focus points are, of course, security. Again, ensuring that there's no, vulnerabilities or anything that on the solutions that go there, operational excellence and performance efficiency. So this is typically a two-part process where you do a kind of a self-service checklist, where you get like a checklist, and you check, are your buckets, not open to the world? Is your data encrypted at rest? Is your, permissions that the software uses following least privilege? So these are things that you should check prior to kind of going to the next step, which is an AWS led review. So, Get Visibility is slightly different process. They've obviously been a strategic customer of AWS for a number of years. So they've had a very close and dedicated account team where, regular conversations come up around being consistently well architected. So already ahead of the game before they even start this process. But again, due to the strategic nature, they were put forward through a number of accelerated programs that really helped speed up the time to onboard onto the marketplace from, weeks, potentially months, to days. So yeah, this is a very exclusive program that they went through. And again, because they've had this, continual allegiance with AWS in terms of having these conversations, making sure they're well architected in all these different areas, it was a very seamless and quick process. But like I said, the idea of this FTR is to ensure that whenever customers come to acquire any software on the marketplace, they can be sure that, it is well architected, and again, it's a way to essentially earn that end customer trust. And yeah, that's the point of that, and it's a very rigorous process. So software that's on there in the end is yeah, it's ready to go.
Thank you, Zach. Super. Ronan, like Mariana's kindly touched on it, the big contracts that you're seeing going via AWS Marketplace. So maybe from you, maybe talking about one or two, or one big success story you've seen from the Forcepoint Get Visibility AWS Marketplace collaboration, and how that's impacted on the businesses that you're servicing.
Yeah, so I mean, I think if you stand back for a moment and you look at what's happening in the industry, right, it's a really exciting place right now. We've just seen the big news with the proposed Google acquisition of Wiz, which is 32 billion, right? It's enormous. And the reason that that is such a large acquisition is that there's tremendous focus right now on securing cloud and securing data, and touching on a lot of what we kind of opened up with, right? And what I see from customers right now is that there's a few things that are paramount when they're looking at this type of tooling, which is responsible for probably their most valuable asset being their data. And that would be that they're looking for streamlined procurement, right? So they're looking for simplicity in terms of how they do this. And I'm going to give an example of an insurance company we work with for this particular solution. They wanted streamlined procurement, They wanted consolidated billing because they knew that they needed to get this in place quickly to help operationalize some of their Gen AI initiatives, and they didn't want to go through a protracted procurement and billing tendering process. So this was quick to deploy. Um, Very importantly, they wanted fast time to value or an ability to demonstrate a return on investment in terms of what they were doing. Crucially, scalability, and both Mariana and Zach touched on it. In order to get to where we are with AWS, you need to invest a lot in demonstrating your ability to make this a very frictionless process. You need to be able to scale in line with customer requirements. And AWS put you through a lot to make sure that you have the technical capability and the wherewithal to do that effectively. And then finally, that you have the security and compliance alignment that's needed again to be delivered via AWS's very high bar in terms of secure, compliant infrastructure with region specific availability. So we had a large customer. They wanted the ability to use the Forcepoint AI mesh to accurately understand the data which was sitting in their AWS S3 buckets, but also have the ability to incorporate what's sitting in their on-prem environment as well. And how we were delivering this for them was a full SaaS deployment within the Amazon architecture infrastructure, but also providing the really cool functionality to understand where the risk was from a network perspective. And then I guess the reason we're so enthusiastic about the acquisition by Forcepoint, we were bringing the AI capability, the AI mesh into the Forcepoint family. But then Forcepoint, being the original architects of data security, had all of the data loss prevention capabilities, the CASB capabilities, all of the inline protection that was needed. So when you couple the really cool innovation with the AI mesh and the DSPM and the DDR with the DLP and the CASB, and then you deliver that or you serve that up to customers in this world-class AWS infrastructure, supported by these amazing Amazonians, as I call them, to help further the conversations with these clients. It really is a match made in heaven for us. And from a customer-facing perspective, ticks all of the boxes. They need to feel confident in the technology, and make it easy for them to procure. So it's a gift from heaven for us in terms of a route to market, but also I would say for our customers.
It's Ronan, fantastic. And Mariana and Zach, maybe that kind of a dual question for you both, and more kind of on the practical side. So, for organizations considering procurement of Forcepoint Get Visibility through the marketplace, what would you say are the key steps and maybe best practices to really maximize the benefits and optimize for that partnership? And maybe Mariana for you, and Zach maybe more on the technical side would be super helpful.
Great question again. I think I would encourage you first check their SaaS solution in our marketplace. There's a lot of information there. I think if you have an account manager on AWS, or you can use your point of contact on AWS, maybe have a chat with them. Show your interest, because they can act on your behalf as well. I encourage you to reach out directly to the Get Visibility team as well. Their sales team is absolutely amazing, and we'll try to really understand your pain points and how they can help with the solution. They really have like this way to really, deliver the value, not deliver only a solution, which is brilliant. I touched it today in marketplace private pricing agreement. Sorry for the names. Don't worry about that. But to make this, you're gonna see the public pricing there, right? But for special deals, strategic deals, I encourage you to go through that route as well. And again, have these conversations with the Get Visibility, Forcepoint Forcepoint to elaborate more on that. I think these are my few tips that I can share here and might facilitate these discussions.
Great. Thank you, Mariana. And Zach, any tips from your side?
Yeah, again, just to echo what Mariana said, there is a lot of benefits from the commercial side, but again, technically, again, Ronan made reference to this at the start, like data is growing. Having these solutions that can give you that insight, that visibility into your data, it can really help and accelerate you as you continue to grow. So yeah, again, if you are looking to get any kind of software, always look at the marketplace first and see what can be done from there.
Great. Thank you, guys. Well, look, thank you, Ronan, Mariana, and Zach. It's clear Forcepoint Get Visibility combined with AWS Marketplace provides a powerful, scalable solution for modern data governance. And I'm sure anyone watching this webinar, feel free to reach out to anyone on the call and learn a bit more about Forcepoint Get Visibility and AWS Marketplace. So thank you for your time and great chatting today.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.